better off than we were certainly started. I think even having some of the upperclassmen, kind of fall into their new role, whether that be a starting role, which is new and different. I think the comfort for them has grown, and our freshmen have learned a lot in a short amount of time. So we've gotten a lot of soccer. We've gotten some bonus soccer with all the overtime, so we've now played an extra game almost, which has been good for us. And we've been challenged with different types of systems. So I think our group is much more prepared than they were, come opening night.
Wisconsin was the first game that you guys got on the board first. I mean, did you see a difference in that game than you did in the previous ones that all went to overtime?
No, I mean, different challenge. But the reason we got on the board first, there was nothing uniquely different except just the way that Wisconsin played. I mean, they really sat in a pretty deep block, and as the game went on, even took away some players that made us need to adapt. So it was a good activity for us. It's one that's hard because you do feel like you should be getting more chances, and they were comfortable not having the ball much, and I thought we got a little bit impatient at times. But, was I surprised we had the first goal? No, but at the same time, I don't think there was I don't think the guys are really thinking much about, leading, goal up. They're just playing, and it's not a huge psychological piece as much as maybe from the outside would lead to think.
You talked about some upperclassmen kind of slotting into new roles. How do you think Spencer's kind of adapted as a guy who's played a lot of games for you, but just kind of actually become a consistent starter this season? Yeah,
Spencer's done well. It's a way different role. I mean, last year wide, he could come in and be a spark, and all of it was bonus with that team, and he did a great job. And in many games was one of our better players and impactful players. So now getting his defensive responsibilities down pat, knowing that's first and foremost. And I think there's times that he, will be a little bit frustrated that his attacking game is not on par for what he expects, and yet we can't slip defensively. And we've had some learning moments with him already. Overall, he's doing well with it, but we still need to get him to be a little cleaner, knowing that that's the first and foremost. And you're trying to remind him again. You don't need to be Andrew Goodman. That's not what we need. He brings some unique skill sets that Andrew didn't have. So we can't look in the stats. We can't look at his impact in the way Andrew played that role. We have different weapons in this team than we had last year, and he's learning that.
You got to be extremely impressed with how far the freshmen have come this soon. I mean, you bring him to lay in. He was coming off the bench, now he moved into a starting role. But to be able to have that kind of play from those young guys has got to be very beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, many of them have come from some pretty nice backgrounds. Josh getting exposure in the 11, Aiden Morris training with the first team with the crew. I mean, these guys were in a good environment heading in, and they're beyond their years. And Herbert, we knew had some creative and some talent, no doubt, and some speed, as we know. But his composure under fire is much farther ahead than we thought. I mean, he is. He's been fantastic for us, and we've seen little spurts from Maloon. Obviously, we've seen Aiden and Josh and Victor's. I still think has more to offer, even though he's playing well. Just to name a few. So yeah, our freshmen have been very impactful.
You've been in this position.
With Caulfield, I think he played 50 minutes altogether before this season. He waits, he's patient, he comes in and can start. One, why do you think he was so patient in an era where so many kids want to play early? And how do you think he's played? How good has he been in the goal?
Michelle's a little bit of a throwback in all ways. Most kids would have pursued somewhere else, and we talked about that. And it's hard to be a keeper, and we're not going to rotate. So we talked to Sean. Hey, you're good enough to be starting somewhere. Do you want to explore? And he said, I love this place. I don't want to be anywhere else. I love these teammates. I love this culture. And obviously, if Trey would not have left, he still would be in a support role this year. It says a lot about his selflessness and just how he sees the big picture. And I'm really excited for him that he got this opportunity. And that said, there's a lot that because he's been here and he's been around, we feel as though he's has all this experience, but he doesn't. So we're seeing things in matches now that he's not been presented with in training, or not the magnitude of pressure of the situation. So I think he's gotten better every week in little things that I think once we continue to get those moments and we get good results, then Sean, I think, is going to be a much better keeper come October than he is starting in August. So I'm excited for that.
Can you give us like just